Good morning, guys. I got out for a morning walk. That's something that I used to love and I want to get back to, like even in the winter. Actually, in the winter even more so. I love getting out for a like a sunrise walk. So right now, I think it was around 7:30. I got out there for, it was like a 20-30 minute walk, and I just bundle up. So nice. So like if you find in the winter you just kind of like are in a funk, that's something that I find that getting out, especially when the sun's rising, you get that there's a certain light spectrum when the sun's just coming up. And I haven't really dove into the research, but I do know that it's not just getting that sun on your skin, which in the winter you're not, you're like, I am so bundled up, I have pretty much just this much, you can see. It's actually that sunlight hitting those rays hitting your eyes, and it causes different hormones and things like that. So that is huge. That's partly why I love getting out, and I get so energized by it. That fresh air, we're cooped up so much in the winter. So yeah, I love that today. And it's also, if you guys have heard of meditation, I'm going to be talking a little bit about, I'm not going to get too woo-woo, but I'm going to talk about a few little different things. Meditation, I struggle with that, but going for a walk, usually I put a podcast on, just having that time to like quiet down, not stuck in the busyness of the day, helps me so much. Like we need that. If you don't have that in your day, at a point in your day where it's just, you don't have all these different things coming at you, it's so important. So even that can be like meditative. So usually I have some ideas come to my head, just have time to like chill out a little bit. Our focus, I'm pretty excited about, and I can talk about it. So I'm going to come on, I'm going to do it in sort of spurts, and I think I will post a video or come live probably like once a week, or throughout the next few weeks. So we're starting a little bit late, so this will run a little bit into December. This focus, I've got an ebook on my holiday favorites that are dairy-free, gluten-free, a little bit healthier, like lots of treats. So that especially you still want to be festive, you still want to enjoy some holiday treats in the weeks leading up to Christmas. I'll give you some different ideas on that, and like a vegan, so dairy-free eggnog is something that I like. I haven't made it yet this year, but that's something that I like to have. So if you're having those movie nights, you just want to treat yourself, or even just an afternoon something. So watch for that as well. So that'll be sort of our December. We're not going to necessarily have a December challenge or focus, but I'm just going to be sharing lots of different tips, along with your weekly meal plans, different tips on how to, like different recipes and different tips on how to eat clean and not kind of go crazy in December. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about our new focus that I just mentioned. Pick and choose what you want to do. Make this membership work for you. So some people, when they're just starting out, they want to look at the Detox Your Home one is a nice one too, or depending on the time of year too. I find I like to look at that one in the spring and really focus on my, Detox Your Home. And what I mean by that is just clean up your cleaning products. Get rid of all the junk with all the toxins and the air fresheners that are causing hormone disruption and just not good for you. So yeah, have a look at that. Right now I think there's 12 different ones. There also is, if you are going to be going on a holiday, or if you have a wedding coming up, you want to lose a few pounds, we've got like the 21-day transformation program. We've got the meal prep program, which is a nice one too. If you've got a busy weekdays, like if your kids are in lots of sports and you have your Sundays are free and you want to pretty much get everything prepared for your week, that's a nice one. So most of the time I don't really do a whole lot of prep. I like to do a little bit on Sundays, but sometimes it's so rewarding too. You spend 3 hours on a Sunday and you have pretty much all your meals and snacks set. So that's kind of neat. So yeah, have a look at that and make this membership work for you. Do what you're feeling. So if this focus that I'm going to be talking about is not going to work for you right now, and I'll talk more about that soon, then pick something else, or just focus on the meal plans, or take little bits of this month's focus and make that work for you. I'll talk a little bit about our new focus. So right now in the membership, I've added the first part of our new focus. So November, I want to talk about sleep. So sleep is something that a lot of us brush off. If you are feeling tired, if you have sugar cravings, carb cravings, if you're just not feeling great, if you're finding it really hard to make a change in your diet and like just those cravings get out of control, if you have moodiness, then sleep is one of the number one things to look at. So that's not to be brushed off. Like, that's so important. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. I'm kind of like a grandma right now, especially when it gets dark so early. I get my kids to bed. Ideally, they're in bed at like 8:30. So I generally, we turn out the lights, and then I generally will like get a book, or I'll get my podcast and I'll go and lay in bed. And often I fall asleep like right away. So like I said, I'm kind of like a grandma, but that works so well for me. So I get to bed early. A lot of us might say like, okay, that's my only time to myself. I want to just like watch Netflix. And I've done that before, and I still do that sometimes. And it's important to, have that time. But I find that it's huge getting to bed earlier. Then I don't, when you're up for that time, generally we want to eat foods that aren't really that healthy for us. So for myself, I just want to eat carbs. And I think that's a bit of a signal of my body. When you're tired, your body naturally craves carbs to kind of get that serotonin boost and to get to force you to like get sleepy. So if you find that have all those cravings, your body's telling you to get to sleep. So since doing that, I'm able to eat a lot better. I don't have those, I don't binge on chocolate or chips or crackers or cereal or whatever. So there's that. And then I'm able to, I naturally wake up. It can take a little bit of time if you're not used to going to bed early. I naturally wake up at sometimes 5, usually around 6, sometimes 5:30. And then that morning time is huge. So this is going to be the second part of our November focus. That morning time to myself. So even if you just had, before the kids wake up or before you have to start getting ready for work, often we set our alarm, we'll hit the snooze a few times and it's like, oh, I gotta go. And then it's just your day takes over, right? Like you're busy, I have to get ready, I gotta do this, I gotta get the kids ready for school. If you start your day with that different mindset, with that shift, with that time to yourself, even if it's as little as 15 minutes, up to an hour is awesome. That time to yourself. And I'll share with you in the coming weeks my routine, what I do, my nighttime routine, my morning routine. And I mentioned before that this has changed a lot in my life. I started doing getting up early, having that time to myself with my cup of coffee, and doing my morning routine. I started doing that when we moved to Niverville. Ashton was just under 2. And I made so many changes. I didn't realize that at that point that it was probably a big reason was because I had that time to myself. I had that time to think. I had that time to like think about my goals, what changes I wanted to make. So I got happier when I do that. I'm happier partly because of the routines I do. When the kids wake up, when I'm ready to start my day, I'm in such a better mood versus just scrambling, to get everything done. So yeah, I started that then. That's actually when I decided I started to look into nutrition school, started to like sort of follow my heart with what I wanted to do. I actually thought, okay, I want to start a blog. I thought, okay, that'll be fun. So I started so many things. So, with you guys in the membership, often a lot of you are making changes. You want to try eating different. You want to try following a meal plan. You want to try cutting out dairy. And I've heard from a lot of you too that you struggle with, there's all these resources and it's awesome and you love it, but you just haven't had a chance to like dive into the meal plans. And this is, if you are resonating with that at all, then having this time in the morning, you can do this time at night, but I find it's just not the same. We're more clear-headed. There's something about that morning time, just to think and just to look at stuff, just to plan out your day. I've got an entire protocol that you can follow that I'll share with you. But the general idea is just having that time. If you want to make any changes in your life, that's so important. And I'm going to dive more into that in following videos. But yeah, so that's part of our focus. Number one is sleep. So I didn't want to, this whole morning thing has changed my life. It's a little bit different from what our normal monthly focuses are in the membership. Usually it's about, healthy lunch boxes, how to sort of live this clean life in a simpler way. This one's a little bit different, but it's going to really help you if you're wanting to clean up your diet, get healthier, make some changes. So it's a little bit different, but it's something that I can talk for hours about and that I'm passionate about. So I wanted that to be the focus, was to help you guys with a better morning routine, help you to really make these changes and have some tools in place. But I also don't want you to wake up earlier and have a half an hour less of sleep or an hour less of sleep, because I know sleep is so important. If I don't get enough sleep at night, the next day I am eating so many carbs. I'm grouchier, I'm moodier, moody with my kids, and there's no way I'm going to eat smoothies and salads and things like that. So that's why it's like a 2-part series, making sure you're getting enough sleep. If you already are getting enough sleep and you are finding you're following meal plans really well, then you're probably doing good. But most of us don't follow into that category. One little thing I'll mention is some of you, maybe a lot of you, have kids, babies, kids under a year. You've got babies that aren't sleeping through the night. You're getting up multiple times a night with them. In that case, and for myself, when Easton was under a year old, getting up lots in the night, I didn't stress about getting up early and getting my morning time before the kids. I let myself sleep in as long as my body needed to sleep in, or until my kids woke me up. So sleep is top priority. If you are struggling right now, then I don't want you to set your alarm for 5 o'clock and then just be so tired. But one thing, when I was on my walk today, I actually sort of put sort of 2 and 2 together. I don't know if this is exactly related, but in that, normally I'm excited, like I'm normally a fairly happy person. I get excited about things. When Easton, in his first year or year and a half of life, I can remember, and it was just probably, it might have been the winter too. So the winter can affect our mood. I remember, and I really noticed it. I remember actually one particular incident. Before I would go, when I just had Ashton, we'd go shopping in Winnipeg, and it would be kind of like a half a day or almost a full day. When you do your groceries, you maybe have to make another stop and you head home. I'd pick up a cup of coffee, I'd listen to a podcast, drive home, and I would just get so I was just like loving life, in my routine and all that. And I remember when one winter, it might have been gone for longer than that, I was never like depressed or anything, but I just remember I just didn't have that excitement for life or anything. It was just kind of like, and I think a lot of people are like this, where it's hard to describe it. It's like a funk, right? You're kind of stuck in a funk, like sort of a funky mood, where it's just, like if a good song comes on, you're just kind of like not a whole lot of emotion. So I was never really depressed, but I was kind of like that. So it's probably partly that, my omega, I was shortened omega-3, and my nutrient stores were too low from having a baby and having the stress of all that. Probably partly because of winter, not having as much sunlight. But it might have also been that was the point in my life where I wasn't having that time to myself in the morning. I would go to bed with the kids because he was waking up so much. I would go to bed with the kids. And then I'd wake up with them, and then throughout the day, hopefully he'd have a nap, but then usually I had my older kid, she'd be up. So we never had a break. So that we need that break. So a lot of you have young kids. You might be noticing that you're just, from morning to night, you just are going, your mind doesn't have time to calm down. Even if you do have a few minutes to calm down, if you're like me, you would sit and you would scroll Facebook, or you'd put on a show, and even then you don't really have that time. That's not recharging you. It's kind of numbing out. It's not really recharging you. So that's why I love the morning routine. So I'm going to be sharing more about that. I'm going to try to take you through, I'll be Insta storing it too a little bit. I might even share these next few weeks. I might share it with our main community. All of the resources and all of the focus resources are always in our membership. So that's a perk for the membership members. But I might actually share this with the entire Mom Recharge community this month. So yeah, If you're on Instagram, follow my Insta stories. I'll be sharing more about that. I'm going to share particularly in this membership group and through email for those that aren't on Facebook. I'll be sharing my night routine, my morning routine, and different tips. So you can go right now to the November focus, either to the monthly section, scroll to the bottom, or to the focus, monthly focus, and click on it. And I've got a video on there about sleep, why it's important, why it affects different things in our body, and different tips and tricks for that. So have a good day, guys. I will talk to you later.